Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Daybreak on Trust Television, and it's that segment where we bring you select headlines from select national newspapers this morning. We'll begin as usual with the Daily Trust, and the major story on the front page of the Daily Trust this morning. It's how Police Service Commission, Nigeria Police Force dispute stalls recruitment of 10,000 police. Only 20,000 instead of 60,000 picked in 6 years. Insecurity lingers due to lack of coordination, and National Assembly must wade in. Those are inputs from experts. You will get the details of this story and more if you buy today's copy and open to page 4. To other stories, 2 killed as police pro-Fubara youths clash in Rivers. That story is on page 10. And tax evasion, private jet owners jostle to beat 30-day deadline. You know, this investigation that started since 2021 just would never go away. There are 91 culprits who have another 30 days to show how these imports were made and pay up the right taxes. I mean, what a time to be chasing this money, you know, where we need every kobo, every penny, you know, that the Nigerian government can use. APC wants Kwankwaso arrested over inciting comments. And you'll find the details of that story on page 10. You know, that's it from the front page of the Daily Trust. Vanguard is up next. Let's take a look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. How Lagos police rescue kidnapped Fuani managing director, 4 others in midnight raid. Uniben graduate beaten, raped to death in Edo. Quite a disturbing story. On cholera outbreak, some Lagos schools may not resume from break according to the commissioner. And the big story, Nigerians not alone in poverty. Atiku, Labour Party, tackle Tinubu. There's a whole breakdown of that and many more. Mayhem in Rivers as Wike Fubara feud spills to local government headquarters. There's a lot more on that on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper for today. All right, we'll move on to the Tribune. On the Tribune this morning, we have the major story. Rivers, 2 killed as chaos erupts over forceful takeover of councils. And with the riders there, Ijaw youth protest continued stay in office of local government chairman, destroys Wike's statue. And Fubara made security chiefs, governor direct administrative heads to take charge of local government, police take over council secretariat, G60 lawmakers ask governor to file treason suits against 23 ex-council bosses. And to other stories on the front page of Tribune, we all need change of mindset for Nigeria to make progress. That's coming from the president. And I think it's in South Africa for Ramaphosa's inauguration. To other stories, REP to debate bill seeking termination of elections petition at appeal court. And FG, Afrexim sealed $3.5 billion deal for textile industry, CNG vehicles, and others. And NUPRC extend 2024 licensing bid for registration by 10 days. That's the much that we'll take on the front page of Tribune this morning. We now have joining us in the studio, as always, every Wednesday, the former director of news at the Voice of Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have Mr. Ben Sherman join us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Understand that you're in mourning because of something rather personal and close to your heart. And may the soul of the departed rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's just do a quick run through and start with the Daily Trust. The PSC, that's the Police Service Commission, that squabble is still on. The police high command call into question the process itself. They say there are some irregularities. They're not comfortable with the process, and it is stalling the recruitment of the much needed personnel that we need to police this country. What are your thoughts about this ongoing back and forth between the police headquarters and the Service Commission?
Yeah, before that, just in a fraction of a second, you see, it's like you broke the news and all that stuff. The simple truth is that the chief of Marwa, Malam Tagwe Sambo, is no more. And he's been on the throne since 1966. And so he was commissioner, the Abakari, there's no central state. quite a lot of that. So he will be buried this Saturday in Manchok. So may his soul rest in peace. And having said so, that reminds me of what he once spoke to us about community policing when he was also in charge of local government affairs that time. You could see that the community as it was that time could obey almost every law, because the mention of the police will arrest you. Make sure that children, had discipline. Now time grew and came up to 2024. Today we have two bodies, the commission itself and the office of the Inspector General of Police, who is supposed to recruit. Now up to the Supreme Court, they said this Police Service Commission should do that, and all the while they've been in court serving the same country. It's so disappointing that we ought to have seen that things are over. When they said recruit 10,000 policemen per year, since President Tinubu came on board, he has not been able to recruit one constable. Now President Buhari was on ground. Even when he was the one who gave the executive order, the compliance level was so negligible, as if somebody was overriding the president. Now, if we have a situation where every IG will come, instead of ensuring that constables are recruited, they are the foot soldiers of the police force. Abdullah, if you check, you don't see constables in the Nigerian police force any longer. You will not find corporals any longer. The least you can see maybe is sergeant. Thereafter, majority are inspectors now doing the jobs of constables, which is very, very, very abnormal. The rank of an inspector, when they said you're going into investigation, but you now see inspectors are the ones opening gate with uniform and their bars, is just not the best. So I think that when people say the National Assembly should come in, I think the president should come in with an axe. Look, do whatever you can do. Here you are. The present IG is supposed to retire, I think so, in September. He should be 60. So what time has he now to start recruiting?
Is it about the IG or about the system? Does it matter?
It does appear there's a lot of personalization of the system, isn't it?
Yeah, from the side of the IG, they say those who applied were not the ones who really got recruited. Now, on the side of the commission itself, they said, look, painstakingly we decided to invite JAM to run this examination. We are thorough in all of this. Again, you hear people saying too much money ran under the tables and all that stuff. So why are we talking
with our tongues
in our cheeks? Why don't you come out clearly to say, okay, so person did this, so person did this. Again, Nigeria is worse for it. When we are talking of food insecurity, we ought to have been seeing these constables joining hands with the Civil Defense Corps, so that what they call the agro-ranchers, they work together. How can we? It's not necessarily this kind of use of force, but if somebody is insistent, then you use the force. But the carrot and stick approach must be there.
Okay, we have to go, but in 30 seconds, if you can, very briefly on the Rivers situation. We understand that the police is now taking over those local councils because of the skirmishes that was recorded yesterday. 2 police personnel were also killed. What are your thoughts about this ongoing debacle or saga in Rivers State?
You see, when someone's tenure has ended, what is it about a second term or third term? If your tenure is 3 years and it has finished, after all, whether you are elected or not elected, is there a second term for you? There isn't any. And the governor, who has the powers to appoint or not to appoint, has simply done the needful. Your tenure has ended. He didn't renew it. So it's for you to act gentlemanly and move. And that is also why, you see, the National Assembly will have to come in when it comes to local government administration. There has to be specific in fact, laid down expressly in the Nigerian Constitution, so that we know that this is your tenure and this who conduct the interview. Not when the moment you have a governor, every seat as chairman, councillors must be won by the party where the governor is. That is not democracy. Even Buhari himself frowned at it and said, how can you say that the party that the governor is, everybody has voted for that party? It's not possible. Let there be free thing. If I take it or leave it, at the point he tried it, and of course there was a kind of a seeming democracy in Kaduna State. You vote in Kaura local government or Sanga or Makarfi, the result goes straight to the collection center in Kaduna. It was clear, and if that could be done even at the national level, why not? Why are we always afraid of ourselves, yet very religious? I think it's not the best.
All right, I wish we had time to continue on and on and on. Today has been very fiery, you know. Despite being in a morning mood, he has come out blazing with a lot of fire, especially as he borders on issue of security, where he has had several decades of hands-on practice on our security architecture. We've been talking to Mr. Ben Shaman, and the Trust TV team wishes to share its condolence with you on the passing of the Chief of Mariban. Thank you very much again for finding time to be here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, it's been a very interesting edition of Daybreak on Trust Television as promised on the onset, and I hope that you'll find your time with us very worthwhile. We'll do this again tomorrow, hopefully, God's willing, with your support. I'm Sunday Michael Ogo.
My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you as always for your time and company. Stay tuned, because coming up at the top of the hour, the latest in sports, the Euros, the upcoming Paris Olympics, as well as a lot more with Emmanuel Fashimi at 10 o'clock. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed again. Thank you for joining us.